So I have terminate ad hoc committee, termination of declarant rights, and then amenity access agreement.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Get them all done.
All right, we'll be mindful of everyone's time tonight.
Hey, this is Alex. Do we think there's going to be a need to go to executive session at any point during this meeting? Because what I don't want to do is go into exec session and then come out to take a vote on anything, and then everyone's dropped off the call or is gone, especially given what we're potentially deciding tonight.
You received the final document from Jacob, correct?
Yeah, I have that open. I'm
Okay.
at it again.
I don't believe there's going to be any need for discussion myself.
I don't personally have anything for executive session. I feel like whatever we're presenting is what we're presenting. I don't think there's anything else. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't have anything pertaining to any violations or exterior modification request, right?
Correct.
Okay, then we should be fine.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, it looks like we have everyone on the call, and it's 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and bring the meeting to order. First disclosure, this meeting is being held virtually only. Owners' questions and comments may be addressed at the conclusion of the board discussions, time permitting. We want to be mindful of everyone's time tonight. Questions may be submitted through the Q&A feature on the Zoom, or owners may use the raise hand option to speak to the board if time permits. Another reminder, anonymous submissions will not be recognized, and so please include your name and address when you're submitting your questions. Each owner will be allotted up to 2 minutes. So I want to welcome everyone to second quarter ShadowGlen board meeting. Introduce the board members. We have Russ Allison, board president, Nicole Lopez, she's our Meritage representative, Alex Braden, he's our owner elected director. My name's Michelle Walsh, I'm the community manager. We have Anicia Rosales, she's on the call, she's the assistant community manager. Celeste Guccia, lifestyle director, and we have our CCMC vice president of community operations, Abraham Salazar. So we do have a quorum of the board, so quorum has been met. First item, approval of the draft minutes.
Michelle, just a second. One quick point of order. We need a member of the board to go ahead and motion to call the meeting to order.
Okay,
I'll make the
Motion.
motion to call the meeting to order.
all right. Do
The
I have a
meeting has
second?
been called to order at 6:01. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, first item is approval of draft minutes. This is from the board meeting held January 21st. Does the board have any questions or any discussion on these meeting minutes?
No, I make a motion
Second,
to approve.
I'd have a second.
me, Alex.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move to the first quarter financial report. ShadowGlen ended the first quarter with 689,000 in the operating account and 884,000 in the reserve account. Operating income exceeded budget due to working capital, more homes sold than anticipated. The administrative expenses are over budget for the first quarter due to the timing of the holiday decorations invoice. So that was about $7,000. We were to recognize that in 2025. The contract services are under budget due to the landscape contract and pet station contracts less than anticipated. Repairs and maintenance are less than budgeted due to the timing of anticipated irrigation repairs. This will even out as the year progresses. We are diving into those repairs. Utilities are under budget due to common area water sewer expense, less than budgeted, and that has a lot to do with the irrigation. We've been getting a lot of rain. Everything's looking good. So that, of course, will even out once we hit the hot months and the irrigation system starts up. Does the board have any questions or comments regarding the financials? All right, we'll go ahead and go to the manager update report. Clubhouse furniture has arrived. This will accommodate seating for 96 people. New tables and chairs also include racks for easy storage. This is the perfect asset to help increase clubhouse rental income. Something we want to hit this year. The volleyball net poles for the pool will be installed next week. The net, we're going to hold off installing that until the lifeguards start on Memorial Weekend. Aquatic management replaced the slide plumbing flanges that were bulging and replaced a contactor switch on pump number 2. The pool lights are being assessed to see which ones need new bulbs and which ones need new fixtures. So we're working on that for the pool. Bids are being sought for neighborhood monument wall repairs. We have the lights are also being looked into that do the uplighting. Again, see which ones need new bulbs, which need new fixtures, or if there's an electrical issue, it's causing the lights not to work. We're looking into that. Irrigation repairs are set to start next week. There are multiple lateral line breaks, a few issues with backflows, a couple cracks, and some broken sprinkler heads and drip lines. We do need an electrician to help with some breaker repairs. Remaining 2026 projects include amenity center pole light replacement, pool furniture replacement, fitness center HVAC system replacement, pool equipment fence and trash bin screening. Hoping to get that replaced this year. And everyone's favorite project, playground equipment replacement. Which brings us to the next topic. That is going to be the ShadowGlen Playground Replacement Equipment Ad Hoc Committee. They're going to give a quick update on where they're at with that project.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for the introduction. I'm trying to share my screen and it's saying it's disabled, so I can share a presentation with all of the homeowners. I wanted to first take a moment to introduce the other person that's going to be helping me present this is going to be Jessica. She's also on the line, so you'll see her right there waving. She's part of our committee, so there's been 5 of us, all of us on screen that have been working since January to be able to bring this to life. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Jess, I may have you do it because I'm having some problems.
Let me
If you're
see if it will let me.
Michelle, do you mind giving her updates? Okay, perfect. I think it's.
Is it coming up? Okay.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So this is kind of what we've been working on, as I mentioned, since January. We've been meeting regularly. We were meeting weekly, and then we kind of did a few touch bases. And our goal really was to create a safe, inclusive, and engaging space that serves all of our community to the best of the abilities that we have. The areas of focus, we wanted to make sure that it was modern and durable equipment, because we know the current structure has kind of been neglected, and we all know, the laundry list of items. So we're really excited to bring something very modern to the forefront to our community and really be a sense of pride when you go into our community and the focal point of it to see this amazing playground that will serve a great majority of our kiddos. And then we also want to include a variety of play experiences like climbing, imaginative play. Those are some of the things that are missing. Obviously, the playground industry has made leaps and bounds since we have our original structure in there. So we're really excited to put something that we're all going to be really happy and hopefully will enjoy. These are initial concepts, and they've been in collaboration with playground vendors. And so Jess is going to talk a little bit. You can bring it on to the next slide, Jess. These are some of the images we're so excited that you'll be seeing very soon. So these 3 initial concepts have been developed to explore the different layouts and different play features that I mentioned before. Each concept includes like large play structures, climbing and balancing elements. We know, like I mentioned, we're also exploring students and children with like learning differences. We know we want to make sure that we try to cover all of our kiddos, and then having a really inclusive swing area. That's something that we're missing right now, and we only have 2 swings. So you can see some of these renderings have more than one, so we're really excited about that. And Jess is going to talk a little bit more about how these concepts are really going to be intended to gather feedback and guide our next steps as we begin making this a reality. We know for a lot of you, this has been something that you feel hasn't been in reach, but I want you to know that it is coming, and we're so excited. So I'll let Jess take it away.
So we have put together a community survey, and we will be releasing it on Monday, so May 4th. And it will remain open for 2 weeks, so it will close on May 18th. That survey is going to have these 3 concepts with even more pictures and detail. And you'll have an opportunity to share your feedback, what you like about them, what you don't like about them, other priorities or concerns you may have about the playground equipment. And all of that will be in the survey. We will also be at the farmers market. We'll have a booth on May 6th, next Wednesday. And we'll be there to answer any of your questions. If you have any feedback you want to give us in person or any concerns you want to share, we'll be there for you to share with us. This input from the survey will directly inform what design we go with at the end. So please make sure that you fill it out if you have an opinion on what the playground looks like.
All right, well, thank you guys. That's Perfect. We're gonna go ahead and go to the next topic on the agenda, which is the lifestyle resident survey that was conducted. So there you go, Celeste.
There we go. Hello, everybody. I just want to kind of go over the results of our lifestyle survey. We put it out the middle of March, and everybody had a couple weeks to answer the questions and get that back to us. The purpose of the survey is to gather valuable information from the residents so I can better understand their interest, and then continue to create experiences that makes the community vibrant, welcome, and fun for everybody. The insights also support the strategic decisions and when I do my budget and making future events that enhance the community and keep it engaging and improving the quality of life. Out of our community, only 104 responded, but out of the 104, the largest age group was 65 plus. Then we had, of course, the 35 to 44. Those usually tend to be the families with the young ones. 16% was 45 to 54. And then we had 55 to 64 was also 16%. And then the younger ones, 25 to 34 was also 16%. I asked the amenities that were currently being used. 32% of them used the pool. 27% of that 104 used the trails. 27% also used the fitness center. Playground, 14%. Again, this is just out of the 104. And then we have 13% of the clubhouse rental usage. 55% prefer the method of communication that we're doing now, which are email blasts, newsletters. Only 13% use that ShadowGlen POA Facebook site and Instagram. Hopefully I can get that up and going. 62% were interested in us providing wellness programs for the community, such as nutritional classes, stress management workout, wellness workshops. 54% love to have more fitness options like water aerobics, which I'm working on now. And a very popular one that came across was the senior fitness classes that they would like to have. We have yoga at the moment that was also requested, but we do have that going on. It's a monthly class on Saturday mornings. They are 70% are willing to invest a small fee, $20 or less. Of the 104, 77% attend the lifestyle events that we have each month. 88%, they love the time frames. Most suggestions that I got was maybe making the breakfast a little early, but I vary that time frame. So 88% of them were pretty happy with what we offer at the moment. 30% would like to volunteer, and they left me their contact information. 70% were not interested. I have developed a volunteer program with incentives. So hopefully that will get that 70% more interested and involved. 63% would like food trucks once a month and suggested a wide variety of food types. So we will get that started as well. These are just some of the suggestions from the questions that I answered or asked. What type of events would you like for children? Most of them we offer at the moment. Again, they just recap family-oriented crafts, maybe bringing more of STEM activities that help motor skills. Then what are the types of events for teens? Again, family oriented. They would like to see more maybe outdoor events, maybe some fitness events. And for the adults, live music, they would like more of that, happy hours, and more cultural experiences. We had a few suggestions for some new clubs. Maybe someone in the community will be interested in getting these started. A car club, a poker club. We have several women clubs, so this is something in addition to what we already have, like a finish it club where women can just come and do their crafts or do their projects, and they kind of hold each other accountable. And then bring other interest into the mix as well. Um, I also had some suggestions in the other category of things that we might be able to do with some of the vacant lots and spaces we have throughout the community. We had many suggestions for a community garden, many suggestions for a dog park, and just a couple for maybe courts. But I just thought I'd throw that in there just to let you know that that is talk amongst the residents here throughout the community. My plan of action, of course, is to analyze all this feedback that I received from the residents and hope to use this to create more intentional events to increase participation, to strengthen the connections throughout the community. Um, Also bringing up some of the volunteer incentives to foster resident engagement as well, and maybe get more residents involved and participating in community events here. We also have tailored the sponsorship package, which we'll be sending out to help enrich the community events as well, with partners and local businesses and vendors, and hopefully help them gain their exposure. We're booming right now throughout the Manor area, so hopefully we can bring some of that in and help each other out and partner to make at a better and engaging community. Thank you guys for listening.
All right, thanks, Celeste. Good information.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the next topic, which is ratifying some actions between meetings that were taken. After reviewing the 2025 year-end financials, the board approved moving 200,000 out of the operating account into the reserve account. Another action, a request for proposal was conducted for this season's pool maintenance, and the board awarded the contract to Aquatic Management. Aquatic Management, they also are a current contractor for the pool monitoring lifeguards. So it's great to have one company doing both aspects of our pool. And the third action, the board signed the engagement letter with Roberts, Markle, Weinberg, Butler, Haley. This firm, they're going to review and amend and restate ShadowGlen's governing documents. So if I could get a motion to ratify these three actions.
Motion.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into some old business. First topic is to terminate the amenity access agreement ad hoc committee. This committee was created, I want to say probably about 7 months ago. That was to help with the amenity access agreement that was presented. So everything has been finalized with that. So I just need the board to motion to terminate this ad hoc committee.
Motion to terminate.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay, the second item on old business is termination of declarant rights agreement. This agreement has been finalized as of today by the attorneys of both the declarant and the association. All board members have had an opportunity to look everything over in that agreement. And I want to put it up if any discussion is needed, or do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
So,
Aye.
Aye.
I
All right,
guess, can I just explain a little bit about what we
absolutely.
just did there? Um, so what the board just approved is a document that begins the transition of the HOA board to resident homeowners over the next few months. And so there's been a lot of talk about this and a lot of angst, I think, in the community to try and get this to happen. And after a lot of negotiation and lawyering, we have done that. The association, I think, is going to overall be better off. I think going down this road, there were other options that we were considering that I personally don't think were in the best interest of the community, and I'm happy to talk through my logic and rationale later. But the good news is that we, as the residents of ShadowGlen, are now going to be able to chart our own course, as it were, in terms of setting the budget, in terms of making decisions that affect every aspect of the HOA, from this playground that we need to replace, to future projects, to new amenities, to the rates that residents will pay for their dues, will all be decided by homeowners moving forward. So there's going to be some more communication, I think, from you, Michelle, in terms of the timelines and some of the other administrative things that need to happen. Obviously, this means we need a resident board of directors, and so we'll be soliciting some folks to turn in for that. And we got to get those selected and finalized and placed and all those things. And there's some timelines associated with that. So it's not as of today, but we think probably by the end of the summer, we will have all of the necessary legal and procedural steps taken care of to make the transition. So I think it's very exciting news for the association. Again, there'll probably be lots of information more coming about it over the next days and weeks and months to come. But it was a lot of hard work, and I'm grateful that we were able to finally get it across the finish line. So.
Right, we'll look at, next steps, timeline, everything. We'll get that all in place and make sure, everyone's aware of how that's gonna play out. The next old business, of course, is another long time coming, amenity access agreement. This is the agreement with Meritage on, their phase 3, community. I believe they're getting ready to have their first model home available in the next couple of months. So the amenity access agreement basically is for phase 3. The new residents in that phase 3 to sign an agreement and be able to temporarily use ShadowGlen's amenity center, pool, fitness center, for basically a specific assessment that they pay separately. So
Yeah.
that's been finalized. Alex, did you want to add anything
Well,
to that?
I was just going to say, to clarify, and Nicole can tell me to shut up or clarify anything I get wrong here, but originally phase 3, which I think is about 1,000 or 1,100 lots, kind of across the creek off of Rector Loop, north of the middle school there, was going to be incorporated into ShadowGlen. And Meritage is building those homes and desired to create its own HOA. And so as a result of that action, pulling those homes out of the ShadowGlen plan, as it were, that is partly the reason why we also are just approved the declarant rights termination, because we've met that threshold on the home ownership percentages in order to do that. So so they will become their own HOA. They will have their own amenity center at some point. I believe they're going to be building that within the next 2 years or so.
That's
But
correct.
yeah, but until that is open to those residents over there, we are proposing that they pay a modest fee to be able to access our amenity center and pool until such time as their amenity center is open, at which point the access agreement ends and those individuals will no longer have access to our amenity center. Our residents will not have access to that amenity center because it's its own HOA. We're not part of it. They will do their own thing, but for a period we're expecting not really to exceed 2 years or so, those residents would have access. And again, I don't know exactly what the timeline is on building and getting residents into those homes and all of that. So I don't anticipate there will be a very big impact in terms of the pool being overcrowded or some of the other things. And it was just a way to help facilitate getting the board turned over for phases 1 and 2 to the residents. So I'm in favor of it. I think we've already dealt with the language for this one already, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, so Alex, you're making the motion to approve the amenity access agreement?
Yep.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'm going to have Russ second just because I'm the representative for Meritage.
Sure, I'll second.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Okay, so that's has basically all of our old business. With the termination of declarant rights, we are looking at the board issuing, I guess, a nominating committee. Do we want to handle that in this meeting as well, or table that to another meeting?
What do you mean, Michelle?
So the board would need to approve a nominating committee. So we would seek out people to become the nominating committee. Usually one board member, which I'm guessing is going to be Alex, will be the chairman of this nominating committee. And then we would have, 2 to 4 additional homeowners on the nominating committee. They would help seek out candidates for the upcoming board election, homeowner board election, and help facilitate, get interest in that and get the candidates in place.
Okay, I've never heard of that before. I typically you just submit information to the residents saying we're looking for candidates. If you're interested, please submit your form. If you
Okay.
guys want to create a committee, you and Alex want to set that up, that's fine. But I think the typical way is you just create an announcement to the community, letting them know you're looking, and if there's an interest, to submit their candidate form, and then we can proceed from there.
Yes.
I'm not
that
really
is,
sure why a committee needs to be in place when you can
yeah.
just notify the residents that we're looking to establish a board.
Yes, Nicole, you're correct. That is typically how it's done unless the documents state otherwise. Michelle, do the ShadowGlen, I haven't looked. Did the
Yes,
ShadowGlen docs call for a nominating committee?
It does.
Okay. So as far as creating Michelle, at this point, why don't you just put out a email or whatever, however it is, you notify the board that you're looking for a nominating committee, and then we can review the submissions.
Perfect.
And I think we are going to have some logistical conversations about how we're going to implement this. I don't really like the idea of all of the board of directors having the same terms and all of that. So I'd like to figure out a way we could maybe stagger the
I think
terms
it should
a little
state in
bit.
the documents 3-2-1. Does it
Yeah.
state that, Michelle?
It does.
Okay, so
okay.
they are already staggered.
Yeah, they
Alex.
need to be staggered terms.
Okay.
Board, what we'll do is we'll get together and give you guys kind of a breakdown of what the next steps and timelines will be as far as nominating committee, what the process is. We've done this before at other communities, so we can definitely give you some guidance on that. And then once we have that set, we can make an announcement to the community on what that looks like, if that's acceptable for you.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So that ends all the discussion that I had on the agenda for tonight's board meeting. I do know we can do some Q&A for the homeowners.
So
do
I guess
have- Go ahead.
Michelle, I was just going to say real quick before we do that, I did want to maybe have you or I can explain it either way, address some of the growing concern about the golf course and the fencing and maintenance thereof. And I believe we already have one question about that, but I think this is going to be a sore topic for some folks. We figure this out over the next little bit. So you just chat about that for a second.
Okay, so I know the question that you're referring to, if homeowners along the golf course are no longer receiving the same level of vegetation maintenance and overall property conditions as other areas in the community, how does the board justify enforcing the same level of dues and standards without adjustment or accommodation? So I think this is in regards to the ongoing vegetation issues with the golf course.
Yeah, so we got a couple of things going on, right? We have this issue with the maintenance behind the fence line that has been an issue for some time. Just as a reminder, we tried to work with the golf course about that, but we are somewhat limited in our ability to do much about it. We don't have an easement, so we can't mow it with our contractors, and the golf course won't let anyone on their property to mow it and is forcing us to use their landscape company, which happens to be owned by the owner of the golf course. And I believe, Michelle, he wanted what, $4,500 a month or something? Mow behind the
48.
fence. Yeah, 48.
4,800.
We're talking about potentially $60,000 a year to mow a 3-foot wide path behind the fence line for 80 houses. And to put that into context, we just signed a landscape agreement that covers the entire community for about $300,000 a year. So in my opinion, this is far too much money for the amount of work involved, and we were sort of being forced down this path because the lack of the easement and the fact that it is private property. I've said publicly on numerous occasions that I do not believe that the other 2,100 homeowners should pay for the mowing behind someone's house that faces the golf course. I don't believe that's fair. It doesn't provide any community value except to the residents that are along those golf course lots. And I've one of the things I think we're going to be looking at when we evaluate the declarations and governing documents is the ability to have the option that if residents want that mowed, then we will be able to assess certain properties or certain sections or whatever, certain additional fees to cover those costs that don't benefit the community at large. So that will take a little bit of time to get sorted out, but in the meantime, I personally cannot support spending the kind of money that they were demanding that we pay for that mowing service to be done. I realize it causes some issues. I don't mean to put those or make light of those, but I have to consider what's in the best for the entire community, and that's just where I've come down on it up to this point. Now, I believe, Michelle, we had talked with the city of Manor, and we're going to look into possibly having code enforcement look into see if there was something on their side to do, because that property is in the city of Manor and they do have code enforcement. And I'm not sure where we are on that, but we'll see if we can continue to negotiate what would be a reasonable rate. And at some point we need to have a discussion about who's going to pay for this, because it's just not fair to the other 21 or so hundred homeowners. Then secondly to that, we've found out in the past couple of days that they have started to erect a 9-foot tall sort of cattle fence, if you will, around the perimeter of their property, which isn't right up against the fences, but is probably 3 or 4 feet off the fence line behind people's homes surrounding the golf course. And we don't have much information about that at this point. The fence is on their property, so assuming that they got it permitted or approved or whatever they need to do with the city of Manor, there's nothing that we can do from the HOA to stop the construction, if you will, I don't believe. But it does raise some concerns about the maintenance between the property owner's fences and this new fence and how that's going to be accommodated. So we're going to have to keep sorting that out. I know we've got some calls into the city of Manor about it, but it's so all that to say, we're aware of it. We're going to find out more. We're going to keep people updated on that development, but there's our hands might be tied depending on what the city says. So more to come, but that's at least where I'm at for now.
Okay.
But with that, if you want to, we want to go through Q&As, or how do we want to do it?
Okay. It's 6:39. I'm thinking we'll take Q&A until 7 p.m. if that's agreeable with everyone.
Perfect.
Okay. So comments that we received, Diana Epner basically gave a comment about several homeowners have wanted volleyball courts for years, so another idea. Ron Hayes, what is the details? That was agreed upon for the amenity access agreement. Please summarize. I think, Alex, you did that already. In the plans for phase 3, in their plans, what are their milestones in order to build their own amenity center? I think, Alex, you summarized on that as well. Okay. Richard Hale, you don't need a committee. It is mentioned in the bylaws that a nominating committee is needed. So that's in the bylaws. Okay.
And to Diana's other question, I believe the amenity access agreement has an initial 3-year term, unless I've lost my mind. But again, there's language in there that it will terminate before that time if the amenity center opens or whenever it opens. And if it needs to be extended beyond the 3 years, which seems unlikely, that it would be subject to annual renewals after that point. So I think that gives Meritage enough flexibility to be able to construct their amenity center and not have to keep bugging us to keep renewing it, while still protecting us from this thing dragging on for years and years without renewal or other action. So
Oh,
I don't think I covered that point in the rest of the stuff I mentioned earlier.
okay.
Cool.
Diana, again, that gives 3 to 4 feet of access to maintain the unmowed areas. I'm not sure what the golf course is going to be doing in that 3 to 4 feet. They didn't share that. When we contacted the golf course, all they stated was the reason why they put the fence up. The reason is to keep people out. That was a very direct statement that we received from the golf course, is basically the reason. Plans for improving plants, trees, overall landscaping for Fairway Estates, lots of empty spots where plants have died. Right now that we do have budgeted funds for landscape improvements. Initially, we want to get the irrigation all up and running. We have 20 controllers. We want to make sure everything's up and running and working properly. Then we can start assessing all the areas and prioritizing those. Okay, is there a clause that ShadowGlen can terminate if the homeowners want to? Not exactly sure what you mean
Yeah.
terminating.
That's in the context of the amenity access agreement.
Okay,
I don't think so. We've signed a 3-year deal, so to speak. And I don't
The
know. I
only
think
the only part for termination would be if the amenity access, or I'm sorry, if the amenities center became unusable and it had to be for a certain amount of days, then Meritage Homes could terminate the amenity access agreement.
Yeah. But the residents who use the facilities under the agreement will still have to sign the same rules and other things that we have.
Yes. Everything that applies to the current residents will apply to the new ones.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, can the HOA ensure that the golf course has a valid permit for the construction of the fence and the fence specifications, height, material, etc.? We should not assume this permit has been obtained. That's exactly why we contacted the city of Manor. They are in the city of Manor. So I have the code enforcement officer looking into that. I'm hoping he gets back with me still this week with that information. Okay, can you restate amenity agreement?
Michelle, are you going to make this access agreement available for the residents to review so they can look at the verbiage directly?
Once everything is signed, that'll be a record of the association and that'll be uploaded for everyone to
Okay,
access.
perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Does the agreement allow for us to modify the agreement each year?
No, it only talks to renewing it. Whatever is stated is how it's going to be for the next 3 years.
All right, Keith King, I see that you have your hand up. Did you have a question you wanted to ask the homeowners? Or, I'm sorry, the board? Oh, he raised, put his hand up. All right, so I think that is the end of our questions. Okay, Richard Hale, you got your hand up? Let's see. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I just I noticed I came in a little bit late and I apologize. I noticed termination of the I guess the declarant um where we're going to be taking over the board. Um did, did y'all discuss the terms of that termination agreement? Or do we have a copy of that termination agreement that'll be made available to the homeowners?
The termination agreement will be another, you know, um,
Recorded document.
right. So once everything's finalized, it'll be uploaded, just same as the amenity, access agreement.
Okay, so but we don't know the details of that yet.
What was stated previously, Richard, is the termination agreement was approved tonight. It will be posted for the residents to review once the proper recordation has taken place. As far as additional details, we will move forward with getting an owner board. And as Alex mentioned, it will probably start coming to a close or coming to the point where the owner transition from declarant to owner board will take place near the end of summer.
Okay. And the bylaws concerning the elected board positions, one of the, informing that committee, I had discussed with Michelle the possibility of having some workshops for individuals who may be interested in the various positions that may be becoming available on the board as the
Yep.
president, vice president, secretary.
Yep. The management company offers services for all new board members to participate in their board online seminars. They're online seminars, or you can do in-house. I'm not sure how CCMC does that, but I believe they're quarterly board seminars. So owners can familiarize themselves what roles they are taking on and what each role entails.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Prior to the election.
Yeah, also to add to that, this is Abraham from CCMC. What we'll do is we'll get together a timeline, submit it to the board, get their approval as far as the transition. Included in that timeline will be some meetings for owners to attend, to be able to get some education about the board of directors if they're interested.
Gotcha. Okay.
Speak with us, and then once we have those directors or those candidates for directors, what we typically do is have a meet the candidate night. Where all the residents can come and meet the candidates that are running for the board and ask some questions to them to see who they want to elect as their representative. But we'll gather a more detailed response and make sure we get that out to everybody ahead of time so that everyone can plan accordingly and be there for if they're interested.
Okay. Thank you, Abraham. Appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
have another-
Okay. Yeah, a couple more questions. What committees currently exist between the one, besides the ones mentioned this evening? Right now, we just have the playground replacement equipment ad hoc committee.
And a landscape committee. Technically.
Technically, yes, we just don't have any members right now. Are there any documents or agreements between the ShadowGlen community and the golf course that indicate sight lines will not be impaired for homeowners who back into the golf course? I do not believe there's any association documents, any kind of agreements with the golf course at all. Okay, another question from Tim Loveland. For being limited in maintaining our properties, but still paying full dues like the rest of the 2,100 residents, that's not equitable. We should not be paying the same for reduced conditions. Will the board address a dues adjustment for affected homes?
Is this referring to the golf course, Michelle?
It is.
Homes that face the golf course that are dealing with the landscape issue?
Correct.
Okay, sorry.
The golf-
I'm just
the-
trying to catch up.
The manner in which the golf course maintains their own property. He wants, I
Okay.
guess, possibly a reduce, or an adjustment, on the.
Got it. Well, the dues pay more for, the dues go towards more than just landscaping. You know that. So no, there's typically never a reduced rate for situations that come up because of this. In addition, homes that usually face a golf course are never guaranteed a view or maintenance of the golf course. And so I'm sure that's going to be something that you guys are going to have to work out through legal counsel. But I also feel that the HOA should not incur legal fees due to residents having to put up with issues pertaining to the golf course. But again, Connie can address that.
Okay, another comment. It doesn't seem like you all are fighting for us versus the golf course. Why aren't we having more serious conversations with the owner and fighting for the owners who have paid to live here and have golf course views? Seems like you all are just willing to let the owner have his way entirely. I understand we are just 80 homes, but we deserve fair treatment.
Do any of the residents, because I'm just new to this conversation, do any of the residents that face the golf course, can they confirm whether or not they signed at closing that they would be guaranteed a view of any sort or any type of maintenance agreement, ensuring that their view would be free from any debris or any landscaping issues at closing? Did any resident sign that? Any type of disclosure?
Okay, I think Richard
Richard's got
Hale.
his hand up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Richard.
If memory, and Russ can probably address this, perhaps. It's my understanding the marketing side of those golf course lots were sold in a fashion to market them as golf course views and golf course lots, although they did not have any type of guarantee because it was a private golf course, unlike other golf course communities that are lots on a golf course where there is an expectation where you will always have a golf course view. That may not have been the case here, but they were marketed, I believe, at that time, and the owners of the golf course lots themselves should be able to answer this question. They were marketed in a fashion that would make one believe that they were going to have a golf course view, although that
But
didn't turn out to be the case.
Right. And okay, so that's kind of what I was asking is
Yeah,
I
that's kind of
understand the
what.
marketing side of it, but nobody was provided a disclosure stating as long as you live in this house, you are guaranteed to have this easement mowed and you will always have a pristine golf course view, no shrubs, no debris, no tall grasses.
Right, and I don't know that for sure because I'm not a golf course lot owner,
Right. Okay.
but
I was just
that
curious
language
what
probably needs to be looked at.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
Richard.
let me just add to that since Richard, you named me. The developer never markets lots to home buyers for any reason. What we'll do is market the lots to builders, and then they will buy the lots from the developer, and then they can market the lots to home buyers however they choose. But we don't have any control over whether they're, for instance, Perry Homes had some golf course lots. I don't have any control once they bought the lots of how they market that and what they tell the home buyers.
One more comment, from Janice. No, but we were told that we must comply with certain rules like metal fences, no more than 5 feet high. A 9-foot fence will overtake our yards. So as far as the ShadowGlen design guidelines, there is one stipulation for golf court, lots that back up to the golf course is they're not allowed gates. So that is that all fences, all
Gates to
Gates.
open up to the golf course.
correct. So those are
Right. The
not
golf course does not want residents on the green.
right.
And if I'm correct, Michelle, the golf course is not a part of the association, so it's not subject to our declaration.
Correct. Yeah.
So they don't have to live by the rules that we have inside our association.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah, unfortunately, Janice, being a homeowner of ShadowGlen POA, you did sign a contract to follow the rules and regulations of the association. So you can submit an application to build a 9-foot fence on your own lot. It would be up to the design review board to approve that. Right now, I do not believe that would be approved the way that the design guidelines for the association. No lot would be able to build that in ShadowGlen. All right, I think that's the end of our questions. So without any further business to discuss, if I can get a board member to motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Thank you, Michelle.
and you all have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah, hold on. I'm not able to do it, disconnect on my end, Michelle. Yeah,
Oh, for the rest of the people.
right, yeah. And I don't have that. I can't do it.
You got it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I just hit the little dots and it just says report.
Mhm.
Right, golf course line, fine for everything. Fences, they're unable to have it. How does the HOA get access?